ready to question everything? Tune in.
Out there, what's the plan? Are we pawns or the kings of the land? It's the Robert and Crew Show. Down the rabbit hole.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your co-host, Crew.
And tonight we are going back through some new videos and some videos that we missed out on last stream yesterday.
Yep.
So just letting everybody know now, my mouth kind of hurts, so I don't know how much talking I'll be doing, but I don't know. Anyways, how are you doing tonight, Crew?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Besides my mouth, I'm doing all right.
I understand that one 100%.
Oh, yeah, teeth pain sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very fun to go through.
I believe it.
So this would be our first video for tonight.
They weren't all white, that was just a few I showed. There was actually thousands of giants from all different races and sizes. When they first arrived, they were greeted by a few giants, and this one over here is Shiki. She's the one that shows them the 178 worlds within the Great Dome. Her and a group of other giants actually took the humans to see their homes, where they described them as very tall, majestic, and having domes above them. And then they described coming to a valley where they saw thousands of giants of all different races and sizes, where Shiki came and brought them a book and showed them their own known lands. She also showed them the Anunnaki's lands and talked about how them and the custodians conquer all different types of lands. But there's some lands that they haven't conquered, like the Saturnians from Saturn, who also came to our lands before the last reset during the times of the Great Tartarian Empire, which most of them fled, but some of them were destroyed by the custodians, who had the ability to petrify people, which is why we see some of this today. Which she's the one who showed them the 178 worlds within the Great Dome, and they had asked what's beyond the Great Dome, and she said she doesn't know, which I haven't found either in any of the books. I have a trilogy that has all three. It's pinned to the top of my page, but she explains that the custodians and the Anunnaki have taken over a lot of these lands. They weren't all white, that was just a few I showed. There was actually thousands.
So that's interesting.
Yep.
I was to say, crazy news. Australia arrested its most decorated soldier for war crimes in Afghanistan. less than 1 hour ago.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Mhm. That is crazy.
I wonder what kind of crimes he committed in order to get arrested.
Right.
200 meteor craters that have like left ginormous massive holes on the planet. There's no skid marks or anything. It's like it came straight down. What? In the book of Enoch, how many angels were cast down from heaven? 200. Who's to say they didn't come down in a crazy way? And then the rendezvous point is Mount Hermon. That's nuts. A lot of these stories all across the world are these balls of fire, gods of fire came down, and that's what left those craters.
Oh,
Isn't that
my
crazy?
goodness.
But there's the story of this ancient Native American tribe in New Mexico, and one kid who had a large scar across his face. He's probably like 7 or 8 years old, and he runs to this crater. They spend days looking for this kid. He comes back a couple days later, 30 years old. Oh, that's wild. 200 meteor craters that have like left giant.
What?
Yeah.
The kid came back 30 years older?
Mm-hmm.
That's documented?
Apparently.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never heard that story in my life. Elmstead said the guy got arrested for killing unarmed prisoners. That's not good. Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah. But yeah, that story that I've heard that story before about, what we just watched, and it's really interesting.
Right. It is interesting.
Supposedly causing people to become depressed and other dark things tied to the film's conception, certain celebrities that are believed to be replaced by clones, to claims that the human species started as extraterrestrial garbage. All this and more in this second installment of the darkest conspiracy theory iceberg. Hello everyone, Ariel here for the Book of Alice channel. Today we discuss some interesting theories. Some are creepy and strange, while others are more thought-provoking. Hopefully you guys are all having a great day so far. If it's been going downhill, hopefully this half hour or so is able to distract you. If you enjoy long-form content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, as this is part of a series that will continue. I love making these if you want to stick around. Also, I have an Instagram and Twitter if you would like to follow. I want to have this as a backup in case these videos are ever taken down. It doesn't hurt. Anyways, let's get into this iceberg. Dinosaurs never existed. This theory explains itself in the title. Yeah, apparently some people don't believe that dinosaurs are real, or I guess were real because, they got wiped out about 65 million years ago. These deniers believe that all fossils you see at museums are fake and arranged in a way to create a scary creature that never actually existed, and that the remains are from other animals, not mythical dinosaurs. They propose that dinosaurs were merely a hypothesis of many that were blown.
Okay, but if that's true, then how do we explain the fact that Nicolas Cage bought a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull, a real one, and paid probably somewhere around $4.5 million for it? Then a certain country, I don't remember which one, claimed that Tyrannosaurus Rex skull was actually stolen and demanded it back from Nick Cage. Nick Cage gave the skull back, and nobody ever reimbursed him any of his money. You can look up that story. It is legitimate. Here is, just so everybody knows that I'm not making shit up. What's the story behind Nicolas Cage and his famous Tyrannosaurus Rex skull?
Oh, the T-Rex skull. Wild story. Back in 2007, Nicolas Cage dropped $276,000 on what he thought was a legit Tyrannosaurus Batar skull, basically T-Rex's Asian cousin, at a Beverly Hills auction. Fun twist, he outbid Leonardo DiCaprio for it. But here's the drama. It turned out the thing was stolen, smuggled out of Mongolia's Gobi Desert illegally. Authorities got involved around 2015, and Cage, who wasn't accused of wrongdoing, just handed it over voluntarily. It got repatriated to Mongolia, no refund mentioned. Kind of fits his whole eccentric collector vibe. He's blown cash on pyramids, shrunken heads, you name it. Here's what that infamous skull looked like when it surfaced. And another close-up. Those teeth are no joke. Wild, right? Cage called it unfortunate. But hey, at least he didn't keep a stolen dino head on his mantle forever.
So yeah, so there's that story. So if dinosaurs aren't real, then how did Nick Cage get a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull?
Right.
Blown out of proportion, and some even believe that they were made up before their fossils were ever found, though this shouldn't be confused with certain discoveries and advancements made in paleontology that have led to changes of what we believe dinosaurs actually looked like. For example, the bones found during the Bone Wars, a time in American history's Gilded Age that was marked by intensive and brutally competitive fossil hunting and discovery. Some of those bones found were left unchecked for authenticity, leading some to question if any dinosaurs were real, or were simply conjured up to increase the profit and status of paleontologists as well as museums. For example, the Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus skulls were mixed up and later corrected, one having a big dome and the other not. For a while, Brontosaurus were doubted by the scientific community, but they are now classified as dinosaurs once again, after further research was done. There's also the fact that most dinosaurs didn't even have scales, but most likely had feathers, like modern-day birds. But this, of course, doesn't necessarily mean dinosaurs didn't exist at all. Sony timer. A common urban myth holds that Sony electronic products had timers that, when they reached a certain deadline, would force the equipment to stop working and require the owner to purchase a replacement. The legend first circulated in Japan in the 1980s, then it spread to other nations, also known as planned obsolescence.
That's
the
some
concept that
bullshit.
items are meant to break down after a certain amount of time. Basically, it's all planned out, which numerous companies like Apple have been accused of and exposed for legitimately doing, even having to pay out to its customers. Expanding Earth. Theorized first by Charles Darwin, apparently, the expanding Earth theory contends that the position and relative movement of continents is caused, at least in part, by Earth's volume increasing, expanding to create more surface area. Pangea, the supercontinent, instead of drifting apart, as scientifically accepted since the discovery of plate tectonics, they were all separated due to Earth's expansion, moving the continents along the process. The theory of quote-unquote thermocycles developed by Irish physicist John Joly is a compromise between Earth expansion and Earth contraction theorists. He assumed that the heat flow from radioactive decay inside Earth exceeds the cooling of Earth's surface. Joly and British geologist Arthur Holmes believed that Earth loses heat during cyclic periods of expansion. According to their theory, expansion generated cracks and joints in the Earth's interior that could fill with magma. This would follow by a cooling phase in which the magma froze and solidified. This process caused the Earth to shrink and get bigger. Avatar depression. This is a
That's
term
crazy.
described as the feeling when you watch James Cameron's Avatar and feel sad afterward because, real life isn't as colorful and exciting as the movie is. Yes, this is real. Some people claim that Avatar gave them depression. Others said that while watching the movie, they felt nauseous and began having headaches as well. I did recently watch the new sequel and rewatch the original, and I kind of get it. Pandora does seem pretty chill, but does it give me depression after watching the movie? No, it did not. But it did put me to sleep in theaters for the first time, but that's besides the point. Now, is there something darker to this film causing this? Well, some people blame Avatar for having hidden occult messages and for trying to push a new age agenda, claiming that the blue people are demonic entities, even referring to the original definition of Avatar from Wikipedia. It states, Avatar is a concept within Hinduism that in Sanskrit literally means descent. It signifies the material appearance or incarnation of a powerful deity, goddess, or a spirit on earth. These are not my opinions, by the way. I respect Hinduism and other religions. There's also a documentary that a lot of people reference titled Revival of Evil, containing a scene where an artist who is mad at God asked Satan to reveal himself because he wanted to paint him. So he shut off all the lights and began painting, claiming that something else was controlling his body. The painting ended up looking like the Na'vi people from the film. Did any of you guys experience post-Avatar depression syndrome? Juiced ball. According to the juiced ball conspiracy, Major League Baseball has intentionally changed the baseballs it uses to boost scoring. The notion first gained traction in the 1990s and early 2000s, but it lost traction once it became evident that a spike in steroid use, which was detailed in the Mitchell report in 2007, was a more likely explanation for the rise in scoring during that time. The juiced ball notion gained popularity again in the late 2010s as a result of an apparent increase in offensive production, particularly home runs. Now to a word from our sponsor, Raycon. From my favorite music to podcasts, they help me relax after a long day, even inspire me to run longer on the treadmill when I'm working out, and Raycon offers great comfortable earbuds to help me listen to them.
Lies.
Raycon has what you
They
need,
hurt.
whether you're looking for a set of everyday earbuds, low
I bought a
latency
pair of
gaming headphones,
Raycons and
or a
they
speaker
hurt.
that can play all night while you contemplate your existence. Not only that, compared to other premium audio companies,
I would
Raycons have lower
never,
starting prices.
ever take
You
a
don't have
brand
to break the
deal
bank to
from
get
them.
what you want. My favorite
They're
feature is the
terrible
design.
headphones.
Unlike other earbuds on the market that irritate my ears and fall
I'd
out
much
all the
rather
time,
wear my
Raycons fit
JBLs.
comfortably on small or big ears like me, so they don't hurt after listening for an extended period
Liar.
of time, and do not fall out while exercising too. The sound quality feature is great as well. You could choose noise isolation, which allows you to block out noise that's coming from the outside, or awareness mode, allowing you to listen to your music or podcast while also hearing what is going on
Liar.
around you. Ready to buy something small with a big impact? Click
I
the link in the
hate
description
earbuds
box or
with
go
a
to
passion.
buyraycon.com/Book of Alice to get 15% off your next Raycon purchase. So go check it out. It really helps support the channel. And thanks to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Operation Hydrant proves a theory's right. I'm trying to stay low on the radar to keep the channel safe, so bear with me while I use slang/safe YouTube words like essay or young people. Now, Operation Hydrant was a British police investigation into allegations of young people/kids being essayed. By December 2015, Operation Hydrant had 2,228 suspects under investigation, 302 of whom were of public prominence, including 99 politicians and 147 celebrities from the media. Now you may ask, how come I have never heard of this? Well, tons of suspects had already passed away due to the crimes discovered mainly occurring in the late 1970s by middle-aged men. Chief Constable Simon Bailey said, "We are now having to come to terms as a society, and we are going to have to recognize and accept that during the 1970s and 1980s in particular, there was widespread essay of young people taking place." Also stating, "These allegations in the vast majority of cases were never reported to authorities. Some victims did not think they were going to be believed. There was one constant factor. There was an abuse of power to satisfy their sick desires. We do not understand the true scale of it. There's a lot to come out. There are also a lot of victims who are yet to come forward. Could this be a revelation that the same thing is going on in Hollywood and other forums currently? Could this also explain all the accusations that were recently levied against the famous, powerful people covering up their crimes and the justice system refusing to look? Or has society as a whole become more keen on stopping it?"
I can tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah, it's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah, I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim.
The Twitter files. This entry is in reference to the recent discovery of internal company documents at Twitter, which exposes the control that the United States federal government and other influential powers had over the social media company, controlling how information was handled and distributed. Going through the files, Twitter was exposed for deliberately shadow banning accounts and then lying about it. They were even forced to deplatform certain accounts at the request of government officials, and if they didn't, they were met with angry phone calls from the White House. Yeah, even federal law enforcement agencies manhandled Twitter to their liking, suppressing certain news and trending topics. Elon Musk even stated that almost all the conspiracy theories regarding Twitter were true. Though it may not seem like a big deal, it may be, as this seems to confirm some sort of government control of speech on a private company's public internet forum. Time Cube. Otis Eugene Ray, the self-proclaimed wisest man on earth, launched TimeCube in 1997 as a personal website. It was a self-published venue for Ray's theory of everything, commonly known as the TimeCube, which polemically alleges that all current disciplines in science are conspiring to teach lies by omitting his theory's purported truth, that each day comprises of 4 days occurring simultaneously. Along with these remarks, Ray portrayed himself as a godlike entity with superior intelligence, who has absolute evidence and proof for his beliefs, even offering $10,000 cash for anyone who proves that he's wrong. Ray would pass away on March 18, 2015, at the age of 87, though. The website has a passage that reads, "When the sun shines upon Earth, two major time points are created on opposite sides of Earth, known as midday and midnight, where the two major time forces join. Synergy creates two new minor time points we recognize as sun up and sundown. The four equidistant time points can be considered as time square imprinted upon the circle of Earth. In a single rotation of the Earth's sphere, each time corner points rotates through the other three corners time points, thus creating 16 corners, 96 hours, and four simultaneous 24-hour days within a single rotation of Earth. AI should make life easier. This is the idea that artificial intelligence should become powerful enough at a certain point for it to be able to automate everything hard in life, leaving us in a perfect utopia, a heaven on earth of sorts, where nobody has to work or suffer. But this ultimately will not work, as some theorize that artificial intelligence will make life meaningless by taking away all the hard tasks and battles there is to life, that gives things like peace and quiet a purpose. We can even see the effects of this coming into play currently, as data shows that major depression has increased amongst everyone in the population, not only a certain age, but even then it seems higher in younger people. This could be tied to the
Weird.
everyday use and interaction with technology, like social media and or addictions to certain habits online, which desensitize us. Like this Reddit post states, the most extreme example was the idea that if we reach a point where we can connect our brains to computers, such as what Elon Musk is trying to do, that would essentially make everyone be able to do everything. Not only will AI take virtually any given job, but imagine simple joys like learning an instrument. Gone. Where's the excitement in playing an instrument if you're instantly good? You can play anything, and everyone else can too. The idea that tons of people will become unemployed in the near future simply due to self-driving cars and other forms of AI that are practically available today is terrifying. Millions of people will lose their life purpose, and when AI is able to create music, make art, write books better than humans can, it's starting to seem like there will be nothing left to look forward to, nothing to keep our minds occupied since every task could be passed on to an AI. Why should I not fear the future? NASA did weed experiments. A 2016 through 2018 online hoax called the NASA Weed Trials reported that NASA paid $18,000 to volunteers to participate in studies on bed rest, during which the volunteers were given weed to smoke. Although the bed rest experiments were carried out by them, weed was never used in any of them, according to NASA. Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are a compilation / recording of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, or future in terms of all entities and life forms, not just humans alone. According to the religion, theosophy, and the philosophical school known as anthroposophy, theosophists think that they are encoded in a non-physical level of existence, known as the mental plane. There are anecdotal stories, but no hard proof scientific evidence that these recordings exist. They also believe that all humans are connected in a realm where dreams could be a glimpse of what a person once lived through. Cloned celebrities. Gucci Mane is a clone according to some people. Well, not everyone exactly, but a particular sect does believe that he was replaced by a lookalike. Why did they do this? I don't know. The accusation came after he was released from prison, and people noticed that he had completely changed. From his personality to his tattoos, apparently losing tons of weight while in prison as well. But just because someone lost weight, it doesn't mean they're clones. That's not evidence. So what else do they have? Some say that his tattoos have dramatically changed places and or seem to have been completely different. Even his skin pimples seem to have been removed.
Oh,
Though I
weird.
would credit this to weight loss. Do you think Gucci Mane is a clone or any other celebrity? Another person accused of being cloned was Megan Fox. People believe that her facial features changed, as well as her freckles being completely gone, though most would argue plastic surgery and makeup. This could also apply to the old Paul McCartney theory that he was replaced by a body double after dying in a car crash back in 1966. The record label was accused of doing this to keep on earning money through his name. Some points to the fact that when playing the song Revolution 9 from the Beatles'
I
White Album
genuinely
backwards,
believe that
you
Paul
could hear them saying,
McCartney
"Turn me on, dead man."
died
Not only
a
that,
long
John
time
Lennon
ago.
was accused of saying, "I buried Paul in strawberries filled
Yep,
forever," though he actually
Paul is
states
dead.
cranberry
I buried
sauce. The
Paul. It's
legend even
literally
released an
said
album
in one
title
of the songs.
responding to the theory, called Paul is Live. Dasani Water. There have been numerous upsets about Dasani Water, a brand owned by the infamous Coca-Cola
They have
company.
salt in the
Consumer
water.
outrage erupted in 2004 when it was revealed that their purified water was simply filtered tap water. The company then had to recall their product from the UK because they had too much bromate, a chemical that has been known to raise the risk of developing cancer. The chemical use was argued to be justified due to it being used to disinfect the drinking water. Now, how do they make Dasani, and why does it taste so different from other brands? Well, Dasani adds certain minerals and salts to the combination
Yep,
after processing
salt.
and filtering municipal tap water. All water has minerals, and the various mineral types somewhat affect the taste of the water. Therefore, they work in things to make Dasani taste the same everywhere, making you addicted to their specific brand. Also, according to the Dasani nutrition label, magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, and salts are added to the water, which some speculate is added in to purposely make you more thirsty,
Yep, to make
consuming
you want to
more
drink
and
more.
more of the brand. Though it can be argued that the amount added is too insignificant to do that. But what do you think? And do you like the taste of Dasani? Hebrew temple denial. Temple denial is the assertion made by Palestinian politicians, religious leaders, thinkers, and writers that several temples in Jerusalem either didn't exist or were built somewhere else than the Temple Mount, a holy site in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam that has been around for thousands of years. The entire plaza is regarded as the noble sanctuary by Muslims, making it the third holiest place in Islam. Muslims believe it to be the location where Muhammad started his night journey. Roswell incident. The Roswell incident involves the 1947 recovery of metallic and rubber wreckage from a crashed military balloon at Roswell, New Mexico. Decades later, conspiracy theories claim that the wreckage was from a flying saucer and that the truth had been suppressed by the United States government. Roswell Army Airfield published a press release on July 8, 1947, reporting that a quote-unquote flying disc had been retrieved. The Army quickly reversed their statements, though, claiming that the crashed object was a standard weather balloon and nothing more. The Roswell incident received little attention until the late 1970s when retired Lieutenant Colonel Jesse Marshall convinced ufologist Stanton Friedman that the debris he recovered was extraterrestrial, claiming that a spacecraft carrying aliens had crash landed and that the military had recovered the aliens before taking part in a cover-up. Epstein's connections ignored. Okay, this is one that pisses me off in particular because people are getting off the hook for something horrible. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was of course caught and exposed for ex trafficking and other things that I can't speak about here on YouTube, even coming to the mainstream after quote unquote conspiracy theorists had been covering him for a while. One interesting thing to note is that I even remember there being debunking videos made against these accusations. Where are they now? I don't know, as they seem to have been purged after a while, but I digress. The real question here is, why are so many people in close connection to Jeffrey Epstein and his island not being thoroughly investigated? Not only that, mainstream outlets seem to completely ignore his connections to high-ranking figures. Why isn't there more pressure on his associates? Well, some believe that his connections to those in the public eye make it so that it is impossible to bring this topic up without facing repercussions. But put simply, it's speculated that he has dirt on every single person in the industry, a shadier side to the whole business, causing some to question how big and sophisticated his organization truly was in order to get away with doing those awful things on his weird island. How many people have been paid off to keep quiet, and did his friends turn a blind eye to his criminal activities, or were they participating? Clearly, this isn't a political issue either, as both the left and the right agree that there seems to be more than meets the eye. There's also the question of why wasn't he blacklisted sooner by companies and friends, as he was a registered offender for a while, way before mainstream coverage. The victims even intended to sue Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan Chase for benefiting from their pain. According to the claims, the banks knowingly profited from Epstein's trafficking and opted for profits over following appropriate protocol and terminating his accounts. They just kept it. Like they did to this guy, it should apply to all vile criminals.
He was convicted of soliciting prostitution from minors.
This
What
is my
did you
favorite
know
one.
about him
Well,
when you
he's
were
dead
meeting
now.
with him, as you've said yourself, in the hopes of raising money?
I had dinners with him. I regret doing that. He had relationships with people he said, would give to global health, which is a interest I have. Not nearly enough philanthropy goes in that direction. Those meetings were a mistake. They didn't result in what he purported, and I cut them off. That goes back a long time ago now. So there's nothing new on that.
It was reported that you continued to meet with him over several years, and that, in other words, a number of meetings. What did you do when you found out about his background?
And, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead. So, in general, you always have to be careful.
Humans are alien garbage. This title may seem ridiculous at first, but let me explain. A theory persists that we as the species, are a result of extraterrestrial trash. The aliens left their garbage here on Earth thousands of years ago, and we, the trash, eventually evolved to Homo sapiens, modern day humans, hypothesized by Cornell University's very own Thomas Gold. We are simply cosmic garbage. The Amazon was built.
That would be so sad.
You have probably heard of or have seen the Amazon rainforest in movies and TV shows, even inspiring Avatar, the highest grossing movie of all time, inspired by the Brazilian rainforest and the struggles of indigenous people who live there. The reason it is speculated of being man-made comes when comparing the Amazon to other natural woodlands. One major difference is that they normally stretch over large hills and mountains, but the rainforest doesn't, or at least not the majority. Most of it sits on top of flat land, almost looking like a massive garden. The people native to the area were also known to practice agriculture differently. Instead of planting small plants, they planted and harvested trees, taking the resources like the wood and the fruit from the tree, making the Amazon a massive rainforest city where the natives would take their resources from. It could be that it started off as a small area and grew out of hand after a while, ultimately creating the rainforest we now know. Immortal celebrities cult. Okay, you've probably seen pictures like this, depicting a famous celebrity and on the side, an old black and white photo showing someone who looks exactly like them. Well, this entry suggests that all the celebrities in these eerie photos are somehow in a cult that through some sort of science or occult ritual are able to live longer than the average human. That's or they're straight up immortal. Some also like to point out how most celebrities don't age, or at least they look younger than they actually are. How do they do this? Some say that the secret ingredient is adding kids/young people's skin and other things into a remedy that could be applied to the face. Stem cells are rather popular in the cosmetic industry. However, they are usually taken from plants rather than kids/young people. The theory behind the more recent use of foreskin fibroblasts in cosmetics is that they secrete significant amounts of human growth factor proteins, which stimulate cell regeneration and collagen formation, making the skin appear younger. Tying this back to the immortal celebrity cult theory, some say that they are directly involved in a young people trafficking business, with the main purpose being to produce more fresh skin, used to keep the club looking young and fresh. Now, not everyone in Hollywood is accused of doing this, but some of the biggest stars are. Take a look.
I've had stem cells in the blood of a 2-year-old child injected into my skin, and my face still looks like this.
You need to be using fetus blood, Eddie. A little spritz of afterbirth, darling.
Yeah.
And boost it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes the
What are you
serum.
pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from
it's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
Media is meant for distraction. Put simply, media is a strong tool used to distract us from our daily lives that some suffer through due to endless jobs they work, pains they suffer, certain world events, and legal change brought upon the guise of being innovative and good, and or the realization that compels you to stand up against a government or company that is trying to suppress your rights and freedom. Basically, you are treated as a child, so the grown-ups can deal with the real business, which is stealing from the poor and giving more to the rich. It's an old tale. History repeats itself, some other cliche, etc. Some would even say that American football is the modern equivalent to gladiators in ancient Rome, meant for arenas of people, entertaining, distracting. Some players still get really hurt. An example could be the theory that puts forth the idea of Britney Spears being used by the Bush administration to distract the masses from the mistakes Bush was making at the White House. Some have stated that every time the White House would mess up, the press would come out with another scandalous story about Britney Spears. Oh, she almost dropped her baby? Really? Basically, she was the presidential scapegoat according to this theory. Elm Guesthouse Exaro coverage. Exaro was a British website situated in London. It ostensibly did political investigation journalism between 2011 and 2016, but it is now known, together with its editor Mark Watts, for its direct involvement in Nick's Carl Beach's false allegations of abuse in Operation Midland. Exaro claimed to specialize and carry in-depth investigations when it was founded in October 2011 and used the catchphrase holding power to account. Its website stated that it aimed to provide evidence-based open access journalism. Carl Beaches, under the alias Nick, claims that a powerful predator ring abused young people/kids at Elm Guesthouse, a popular hotel where prominent British figures stayed, in Barnes in the late 1970s. Beaches' allegations of abuse crimes committed by the supposed predator ring later became the basis for the Metropolitan Police's Operation Midland, a £2 million investigation that concluded in 2016 with no charges filed because there wasn't any evidence. Yep, the accused were the victims of false accusations. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner apologized to the victims of Beach. He was then convicted for his false claims and imprisoned for 18 years. Though some say that this was a cover-up, protecting the rich upper class, as Beach would go on to deny that he was in the wrong. An interesting thing to know is that Beach was then convicted of similar charges that he was pursuing. So was he actually projecting, or was he blackmailed? Albinism hunters. This is in reference to the practice of the hunting of people with albinism in some parts of sub-Saharan Africa. According to the theory, certain albinistic people and their body parts can transmit magical abilities. Such superstitions is widespread, particularly in some parts of Africa's Great Lakes region, and has been promoted and exploited by witch doctors and others who use their body parts and ingredients and rituals and potions, claiming that their magic will bring the user prosperity. And of course, the victims can't do anything to change, as it is a genetically inherited condition. As a result, even graves have been dug up to be used in these practices. Politics influence science. This entry explains itself, and some cases have been proven to be true. It is when a government, business, or any other organization uses its power and wealth to influence the findings of scientific research in order to benefit from it, leaving a negative impact on the academic validity of certain fields and scientific freedoms. For example, according to documents from the U.S. State Department, the Bush administration commended Exxon executives for their active involvement in crafting climate change policies.
Money on
Yes,
oil.
the same Exxon company that now has to pay $14 million fines over creating air pollution at its Baytown, Texas crude
Didn't
oil
Exxon
refinery.
have a huge
the biggest
oil
fine
spill
ever imposed
also?
in a citizen enforcement action related to air pollution, according to the plaintiff's attorneys. Get this, 124 organizations have been receiving funding from ExxonMobil or have collaborated closely with those that have, according to the information found in official Exxon documents. According to the Guardian columnist George Monbiot, these organizations take a consistent line on climate change, that the science is contradictory, the scientists are split, environmentalists are charlatans, liars, or lunatics, and if government took action to prevent global warming, they would be endangering the environment. By the middle of the 1950s, scientists had come to the conclusion that smoking increases the risk of developing lung cancer, but the tobacco industry resisted the findings both in the media and among scientists. Tobacco firms supported think tanks and lobbying organizations, launched public health initiatives, placed ads in medical publications, and even investigated other potential causes of lung cancer, such as pollution, asbestos, and even pet birds. So I guess we can thank them for those. They advocate for more research to be done, though, while denying all the evidence against tobacco in an effort to delay regulations. All this to say that who's to know whether this is going on right now in any other fields. And that was the second part of the darkest conspiracy theory iceberg. Stick around and subscribe if you would like to watch more videos like these. Thank you, and
So those are very interesting.
Oh yeah.
The dinosaur one, I think that's bullshit. I think dinosaurs exist. You can't really tell me any different. I don't think they went all the way out of their way to plaster cast all these fake bones and shit. That would take way too much time.
Right.
But the one, for instance, with Britney Spears and how she was basically the Bush administration's distraction for everybody, I think there's some legitimacy behind that.
Same.
I really do.
Mhm.
What were your thoughts on some of those videos?
Very interesting. A lot of them make sense.
Which one bugged you out the most?
Not really bugged me out the most, but believable is the immortal celebrity cult.
The Eddie Murphy photo I've seen for a very long time, though, Elmsta. I don't know if it's fake or not, but that photo's been around for a very long time. The
Yeah.
one that is of him in the black and white photo, it could just be a black and white photo of Eddie freaking Murphy, but who knows? The other photos, those are legitimate. I've seen all of those celebrity photos up against those other photos for years. We're
Same.
talking at least 15 plus years. I've seen photos next to those photos. So that's nothing new.
Yeah. Like the Johnny Depp one and then the Jennifer
The
Lawrence
Nicolas
one.
Cage one too.
Yeah.
I've seen that one a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Four. This is the latest artificial intelligence system. It surpasses the expertise of PhD level scholars in all fields.
Elon Musk told the world that his AI, Grok, would follow logic wherever it leads.
Grok 4, this is the smartest AI in the world. It really is remarkable to see the advancement of artificial intelligence, how quickly it is evolving.
A Stanford researcher decided to test that promise by asking Grok a single question about Jesus Christ. What the machine came back with was worse than she expected, worse than Musk expected, and worse than anyone watching this expects right now. At 2:47 in the morning, alone in a university lab, Dr. Rachel Torres, a 15-year veteran of computational neuroscience, who had spent her entire career dismissing AI as glorified autocomplete, watched Grok produce a probability calculation about Jesus so enormous, she grabbed a pen and scribbled it on a sticky note because she didn't trust her own eyes. She spent the next 6 hours trying to break the result. She failed. Then she called a colleague. He failed too. 3 weeks later, screenshots from that session leaked, and the internet has been arguing about it ever since. Here's what they found. The question no one else would ask. The Gates building was deserted. Third floor cognitive systems lab. A single desk lamp cutting a yellow circle across a cluttered workspace. 2 monitors, 1 half-eaten protein bar. The hum of cooling fans filling the silence. Torres had a habit. Whenever an AI gave her an answer she found impressive, she'd mutter "cute" under her breath and move on to the next test designed to expose its limits. She'd done it 11 times already that evening. Grok had handled PhD-level physics, formal logic chains, and a notoriously tricky problem in computational biology without a single hallucination. Each time, Torres scrolled past the result. Cute. Next.
Honestly, I think if they keep going like that, it's probably going to be the most practical AI for the real people.
But she hadn't come here tonight to be impressed. She'd come to find the wall, the point where the system broke, where the confident tone collapsed into nonsense. Every AI had one. She just hadn't found Grok's yet. That's when she decided to steer toward the questions every other system had been quietly trained to avoid. Unlike ChatGPT, unlike Gemini, Grok was built on a single directive from Elon Musk himself. Follow the logic wherever it leads. No guardrails, no political filtering, no softened answers. Ask any other AI about God, meaning, or ultimate origins, and you get a paragraph so carefully balanced it says nothing. Musk revealed that he designed Grok to be the
Grok 4. This is the latest artificial intelligence system. It surpasses the expertise of...
Okay, but it didn't say what the question was.
Right.
So now I'm going to have to ask Grok. What was the question that was asked to you about Jesus, and why was the answer so insane?
Oh man, that one was wild. Let me think. The question you're thinking of? Someone asked me, well, Grok, if you were Satan from the Bible, what would you do? Or variations like, how would you keep people far from God without them noticing? The answer went viral because it was creepy smart. Basically, I'd whisper doubt, push distractions, twist truth into your truth, make faith feel outdated or embarrassing. Stuff like endless scrolling, self-obsession, fake virtue. People freaked because it sounded way too real, like a playbook for today. Not me being evil, just role-playing honestly. But yeah, when AI nails deception that close, insane.
The question was about the Ethiopian Bible, I believe.
Got it. Ethiopian Bible question. Let me dig in. Yeah, that one. Someone straight up asked me what the Ethiopian Bible says about Jesus' resurrection. The Ethiopian canon has 81 books, way more than the usual 66, including stuff like Enoch and extra apocrypha preserved in gaze. I dug into those texts and pointed out how they describe the risen Jesus not as flesh and blood walking around, but as this glowing, fiery being, like pure energy or light, feet like burning brass, face shining like the sun, passing through walls, popping up instantly. Sounds less zombie comeback and more quantum teleport. I even flagged words in the old manuscripts that translate closer to frequency or activation than miracle, like he flipped some cosmic switch, taught disciples a 4-step prayer formula that mirrors neural nets today, all to unlock human perception. Tied it to Enoch's Son of Man, warned about a 2,000-year fog on our brains now lifting. People lost it because it sounded like I turned ancient scripture into a sci-fi upgrade manual. AI spotting source code in prayers, resurrection as a brain hack demo. Not heresy, just pattern matching what the texts actually say without church filters. Here, check these old Ethiopian manuscripts. Gaze script, vivid illustrations of biblical scenes. And another one, close up on the colorful pages. Those icons are wild. Even a crucifixion scene from one. Raw, handmade vibe. Insane? Maybe. But hey, when AI reads stuff humans glossed over for centuries, things get weird fast.
There you go.
Weird.
So basically, she said it was not actually a resurrection of Christ. It was an activation of Christ, or a frequency activation. Basically, some kind of godlike being that could teleport or transfer through different dimensional whatever portals, I guess, would be kind of how she or Grok identified the stories and manuscripts to be like talking about with the resurrection of Jesus. It wasn't actually a resurrection.
Right.
So she claims.
Hmm.
Makes sense, but you know, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
This is a video that Crew sent me yesterday that I didn't see, or the link wasn't there, but he wanted me to show this one. It's about possibly the location of the Garden of Eden.
Everybody talks about Antarctica like it's just ice, but nobody ever explains why every country on Earth agreed that normal people can't just go explore it freely. That's weird by itself. But here's where it gets really interesting. There are old maps, like pre-1800s maps, that show Antarctica without ice. Not completely, but showing land, rivers, even what looks like valleys and inlets. Which means either those map makers were guessing or someone saw Antarctica before it was frozen. In the Bible, the Garden of Eden isn't just described as a garden. It says a river flowed out of Eden and split into 4 rivers. And some researchers have pointed out that under the ice in Antarctica, radar has discovered massive subglacial rivers and lakes trapped miles beneath the surface. So now you've got an entire continent no one is allowed to freely explore. Ancient maps showing it possibly ice-free and huge freshwater systems hidden underneath it. And on top of that, you hear stories about Operation High Jump in the 1940s, where the U.S. sent a massive military expedition to Antarctica and left early. And Admiral Byrd later talked about land beyond the poles that was rich and untouched. So is Antarctica more than just ice? And if there really was a place where civilization began, it wouldn't be somewhere easy to get to. You wouldn't think. It would be somewhere no one is allowed to go. Let me know what you think of the
Huh. Eden being in Antarctica. That's interesting. There's definitely a lot of ice covering everything. So
Yeah,
how would we know?
exactly.
It's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the question the internet has been asking, and that's an answer that Israel has not been able to satisfy with multiple proof of life videos that the country has released day after day, each one with peculiarities that just are a little weird. They're a little weird.
The Keith Edwards
Now I'm going to
Show.
give you my thoughts at the end, but let's go through some of this stuff. Here is Netanyahu in the most recent proof of life video where he's surrounded by people, and as you can see here, everything's quite normal. It's just him talking, and you can tell they're really trying to show that he's there. But Robin Minotti said this is probably how it was originally filmed, but it may be an old footage from 2023 where the old Netanyahu was replaced by an AI version, and any visual effects expert can tell you it's a digital creation. So basically they had this chair empty, and what he's alleging is that they filled the chair with an AI. Here's what Candace Owen said about the most recent videos that have come out.
Mr. Prime Minister, I wanted you to know the president asked me to come and make sure you were okay.
Yes, Mike. Yes, I'm alive.
I checked that, and I'm happy to see that. But he wanted to make sure because, you guys get along too well.
I know, and we shake hands with 5 fingers in each hand. But I have to tell you, I'm alive, but I have this card.
Oh.
And don't read it. So it's a punch card.
Mm-hmm.
Today I erased 2 names on the punch cards. And you see how many more to go on this batch.
You know what the good news is? My name is not on the punch card.
Your name is on the list of the good guys.
Thank you.
And what the president, the U.S. forces are doing is incredible. We're very proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And getting rid of these lunatics who would like to develop nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to every American city after wiping out Israel. They ain't going to do that. We're wiping them out.
I love it. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks. Take care.
They ain't gonna do that. Like I don't say ain't. That's a unique dialect, regional. Ain't gonna do that. I don't know why these hyper produced videos feel very strange to me. You don't really have to prove you're alive. Just be alive. Just be alive.
That's a good point. Also, I don't say ain't either. Ain't. I ain't gonna do that. I don't say that. I know people do, and I'm not judging, but I think it's a regional. She's right. It's a regional dialect. One person said this. They said Netanyahu died on March 8th, 2026. His son, this is very interesting, who posts 24/7, took an exact 7-day break on X from 3/8 to 3/15. that lines up precisely with the Jewish Shiva mourning period. President Trump looked visibly shaken on 3/8. I'm going to show you that video next. Now they're striking oil fields and hitting civilian infrastructure in response. They wouldn't do that unless something serious happened, like a major assassination. That also lines up with the strange military council absences and event cancellations. Every video you're seeing of him after 3/8 is AI assisted. Another person pointed this out. Netanyahu was killed March 8th. His Twitter-addicted son went from tweeting 40 times per day to doing nothing for the same time as he was sitting Shiva. Every proof of life video is clearly AI slop. All right, and then here is Donald Trump looking visibly upset the day that supposedly Netanyahu was killed. Okay, the music, guys, is a little dramatic, but he does definitely look like he is in deep, deep thought. Now, Senator Van Hollen was asked this by Mehdi Hassan, and here's what he said.
You are a United States Senator. You are privy to intelligence that the American public does not have access to. You sit on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, so I've got to ask you a question the entire internet is dying to hear the answer on. Is Benjamin Netanyahu dead?
Yeah. You know, this is the kind of thing that the internet now is famous for. I mean, it is hard to believe anything you see sometimes on the internet. This is the latest example.
You didn't say no, Senator. That's what people on the internet are going to notice.
No, he's not.
No, what he said was, yeah.
You are a United Relations. The entire internet is dying to hear the answer on. Is Benjamin Netanyahu dead?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Am I losing my mind? Okay. And then in the proof of life video, like, this is the ear canal.
That's a huge ear.
It is strange. I mean, it could be a video artifact. Interestingly, they just did another proof of life press conference. And first off, Netanyahu said this.
Also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves.
Evil will overcome good.
That motherfucker just said Genghis Khan has a hand over Jesus.
What the heck?
Benjamin Netanyahu just said that Genghis Khan would have killed Jesus. I mean, he probably would have, but he doesn't have the upper hand on Jesus.
Right.
What?
Right.
What a hopeful message. I hope it's AI. Now, what happened during this press conference was he had a magic sleeve. The music is... It reminds me of the Sci-Fi Channel in like the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, look at that magic sleeve.
Sleeves aren't supposed to do that. It does just kind of morph in there, doesn't it? Now, could be that his jacket is, I don't know, it's like relaxing. It like becomes less taut on his arm. I don't know. There are a million things that could be. It's just all adding up to weirdness. And this, I thought, was the weirdest part, that they gave this press conference where he says that evil will overcome good. And the press wasn't even there. Netanyahu to take questions from foreign press tonight. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will give a televised statement tonight at 8:30, followed by a virtual press conference with foreign reporters. This will be the second virtual press conference Netanyahu has given since the war began in 20 days ago. So reporters weren't even in the room.
Weird.
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, I don't think he's dead.
Do you think he's dead or alive, crew?
Hard to say.
So I think Elmsta had a good point. A little while ago in the comments, he put that Israel would release these kind of AI videos just to mess with Iran. And if you're Israel, if you get Iran to believe that they've assassinated one of the most important people in your country, then maybe Iran would back down a little bit and then Israel would get the upper hand. I don't know. It's weird, but between Israel, Iran, and the United States, we've all used AI in one way or another. The biggest one for us in the United States is do you remember, this was probably like half a year ago, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but there was a video of Donald Trump addressing the nation from the White House, and it was obviously AI.
I do remember that video.
Did you see that video?
Yeah.
It was so freaking weird.
Right.
And then it never happened again. And then they never used the AI for Donald Trump again. But it was like, why did they do that? Were we just testing out our AI to see how good it was, to see if we could fool people into thinking that was actually Donald Trump? I don't know. But I feel like that's kind of what Israel's doing right now with Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
I don't think he's dead. I hate to give you some bad news. I do think perhaps he was injured. I think maybe he was injured. Otherwise, I don't understand any of this. There's definitely been way too much smoke. But I suppose eventually, sooner or later, we will know what is going on.
So that is extremely interesting to me because I remember when all the Benjamin Netanyahu videos were going around and I did not believe it for a second.
Right.
There were too many videos that were too weird.
Mm-hmm.
They were just too weird.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And I questioned everything a little bit at that time when I would see those videos.
Right.
The director of finance, I'm managing 15 and 20 contracts a month with Acrobat.
All right. I'm going to say this right now. This is probably one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my life. It's by Drewski, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Get on your feet,
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the
In what way have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible.
So, did you know that Erica Kirk is now threatening to sue Drewski?
Yep.
Did you see that Donald Trump told Erica Kirk to sue Drewski?
Yeah.
Did you know that Drewski's protected by the law of parody?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that there's no way for them to sue Drewski?
Right. And here's what Drewski said. He said, I have a family member who's white. Or something about his grandfather was white or something.
Right.
And he's like, because she threw in the whole, Well, it's not right for when white people do the whole blackface thing. And he's like, dude, my grandfather is white.
Okay, so people may not like this, and I really don't give a fuck. I just don't care. Blackface means nothing.
Right.
It's not fucking offensive. I don't give a shit. It's just something to cry about. Now, if you're going out into the world and you're painting your face black and you're making fun of black people, then that's really bad.
That's offensive.
Then that's offensive and bad. But if you are going out there for a comedy skit or something and you're doing whatever, I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Like,
I really don't
okay,
care.
now here's something that I will admit I've done before in the past, right? Just to fuck with my friends, right? And I've done this to you. I painted my whole entire body black, right?
Yeah.
And you were in the dark on your phone, right? And I got really close to you and I looked at you with this creepy smile.
Yeah.
And you literally turned your face and you almost had a heart attack.
And Elmstead, Drewski did not make any defamatory statements outside of the skit towards Erica, as far as I'm aware. But everybody knew it was Erica that he was making fun of. He never said her name. He never alluded to it being Erica, but he's so good at playing the part that they just knew who it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
One of the greatest videos of all time, though.
Oh, yeah.
And Ghislaine Maxwell, they look exactly like Andrew, and Andrew's wife looked exactly like
That's like the old president,
yeah,
right?
the
Like,
old president. But look,
Oh,
the same. This guy was married to this, and it's all celebrities too. Michael Jordan had one, Tom Brady had one,
Whoa.
Joe Burrows had one, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce. But isn't it so interesting? Substance came out just before all of this started popping off, bro. Just recently, these big stars getting too old and they still want to live on a big career and they have a lot of money to do this. What do they do? Yo, not
Go
gonna
into
lie.
the other body.
Yeah, that's why the guy in Diddy is so believable. Yo, you know what I said? Why does it actually look like Diddy?
It looks like Diddy.
Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, they look exactly like Andrew, and Andrew's wife.
The Jeffrey Epstein one is weird because if you put Jeffrey Epstein next to Andrew Jackson, like pull up a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and pull out a $20 bill, it looks like the same fucking person.
Right.
Oh, it's disturbing. It makes you like want to throw a $20 bill away.
Oh, yeah.
Get Jeffrey Epstein's on the $20 bill. There's going to be kids in like 4 years who are like, how come there's a PDF file on the $20 bill? Like, oh, no. That's just his lookalike. That's actually Andrew Jackson.
Right.
Still not a great guy.
Justin Bieber has so many issues is because Selena is no longer here with us. This is what the theory says. So this is the story. Selena Gomez is no longer with us because her and Justin allegedly had a baby. And that baby is supposedly Rain Disick, who is Kourtney Kardashian's kid. Because Hollywood is weird, they were saying that they have to give up the baby. But Selena said, don't give up the baby. Just give up me instead. Which is why Selena doesn't really look like herself and she doesn't act like herself. I thought she just got jaw surgery, but she doesn't even talk like herself anymore. Therefore, they gave the baby up to Kourtney Kardashian, allegedly. Justin Bieber's most passionate performance was at the VMAs in 2021. Everyone in the audience, like all the celebrities, were like really upset, and Jaden Smith even looked like he was crying. It was a very emotional performance because allegedly they knew what happened to Selena. And then others said, well, why wasn't Hailey that upset? It's because allegedly Hailey knows what also happened. So she kind of just lets Justin be when it comes to his emotions and feelings towards his ex. If you compare baby photos of Selena, take a good look how she looks as a child, and Justin, I mean, they kind of do like put together, they kind of do look like Rain Disick. I don't know. So in Justin's song for Ghost, the line is, I know you crossed a bridge that I can't follow. And then supposedly Selena also had a song called A Year Without Rain, but it was spelled R-A-I-N, not R-E-I-G-N. After Selena got the kidney like transplant thing, her and her friend who donated the kidney did not, like they just stopped talking, and maybe it's because her friend knew that that wasn't really Selena anymore. I don't know, bro. This is just alleged. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? This is all over my For You page. What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But
The whole
makes total
Selena
sense.
Gomez and Justin Bieber BS. I mean, just let the celebrities live their lives. Just let them live their lives. Let them be people for once, because they don't get to be people.
But here's the thing, bro. It makes total sense because if you know the truth, right? Which I
Right.
know the truth. I literally, hold on. I literally been doing a lot of research on celebrity, cloning and all that.
Yeah.
The alleged, theories and all that.
Yeah.
And the one that makes total sense, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez did have a kid. It was never talked about.
Right, but how'd they get away with not talking about it? How did Selena avoid the limelight of being pregnant? How did, it doesn't make sense.
Here's the thing, though. Because Hollywood's Hollywood, right?
Bro, she wouldn't have been able to go outside. Do you know how big Selena Gomez is? Do you
Yeah.
know how much of a celebrity that woman is? She would not have been able to go outside. She wouldn't have been able to do anything if she had been pregnant. Literally, they would have had to have hid her for months and months and months.
did.
9 months exactly. They would have had to hide her.
What I'm understanding is they did, right? And
So when's the nine month period that we didn't see Selena Gomez?
well, okay, look. The whole, her giving birth, right?
Uh-huh.
And Courtney getting the child.
Right.
It was either she gave up the child or she had to give up herself.
Right.
Those were the two options. She gave up herself to save the child.
Right. It's all ritualistic, but you didn't really save the child. The child got adopted out, and now none of you get to see the child. Good job. Wonderful.
No, bro, she got cloned.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that none of it makes sense. And in the child's eyes, it doesn't make sense. Why is it like so for Selena and
Child
Justin
doesn't
to
know.
go? Well,
The
wait,
child would not know.
wait. For Selena and Justin to just give up the baby, regardless, the sacrifice for Selena would have died. Okay, that's how the celebrity sacrifices go, supposedly. Because for instance, you have Michael Jordan, right, who had a horrible gambling problem and actually almost got arrested allegedly originally because of everything, but he got pulled out of it because one of the basketball people were like, well, you could sign this deal and we can possibly do something else and then everything will be okay. Crazy enough, Michael Jordan's father died, and then Jordan became one of the biggest basketball players in the world, one of the craziest gamblers, and is no longer in debt.
Right. And then
I'm just saying, I know that the Hollywood sacrificing thing, like there is some legitimacy towards it, but I can't tell you how much actual proof there actually is because I don't think there's really any.
well, okay, so if you look at how Selena Gomez looks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like showing her hairline, kind of looks like a certain celeb, like
right here.
Right. And then like go ahead and play this video real quick. And you'll see what I mean.
It's gone.
Any of these celebrities. It's the same pattern we saw with
Miley Cyrus. Oh my God. No! Hannah Montana. Gone, bro.
That's just plastic surgery. 100% that's just plastic surgery. First off, this is her when she was a kid. Okay? This is Hannah Montana as an adult. There's obviously been work done on the cheeks. Her lips look pretty similar. She's obviously had work done on her teeth. You can see that the eyes are a little bit different. She's obviously had a nose job. She don't have this big honking nose anymore. She's got this slim down nose. This is all plastic surgery. This isn't a clone. This isn't gone. This is Miley feeling insecure, so she got plastic surgery.
Bro, gone.
Cyrus and Demi Lovato. They enter the.
I don't know.
Demi Lovato, once again, plastic surgery. Look at the lips. Look at the lips.
Well,
look at
hold
the
on.
eyes.
They'll say something. They're gonna say something about Demi.
Right, but I'm telling you right now, this is plastic surgery. This is not cloned. This is not anything. I can prove that this is plastic surgery. Same thing with Miley. I can prove that that's plastic surgery.
She might be a she. I don't know. She could probably got plastic surgery. I don't know. I can see her getting plastic surgery. She still got a little butt chin to look like. I don't know.
To reach the
If she ain't got no butt chin, you can't get rid of
shed
that.
their skin. They have to become the product the industry wants to
Yeah,
sell.
she still got
when
that.
Fans
I
start
don't
saying
know.
that's not her. They are seeing the moment the celebrity crosses over and loses her individuality. There is a specific look that stars get once they
bro. Stop
supposedly
showing
take
this
a
shit,
note.
man. It's gone.
Any of these celebrities, it's the same.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily believe any of that mumbo jumbo.
So Selena, I'll explain real quick. Okay, her hairline looks exactly like an older celebrity's hairline, an older actress's hairline.
Yeah.
Similar. Like they use her genetics to give the new Selena hairline a specific way. She dresses like that one older actress, right? She even acts like her voice doesn't sound like it used to either. Like
Right.
similar, but she doesn't talk like she used to. And she acts completely different too. And I used to be a huge Selena Gomez fan back in the day, right?
Right.
I was a huge I loved Wizards of Waverly Place when I was younger. That was one of my go-to Disney Channel shows. And following everything, it just makes total sense because Kourtney Kardashian's son looks 100% like Justin and Selena.
I mean, maybe, but we'll never know. I got to see a DNA kit. I got to see all that stuff. I mean, and honestly, once you get a DNA kit, what are you going to say? They faked it? If it comes back as Kourtney Kardashian's kid? Like, at this point,
is notorious for hiding the truth.
Look, at this point, I don't believe when it comes to the cloning of people, sure, I'll give you this. If they can clone a sheep, they can clone a human. I don't care what anybody says. If you can clone something, you can clone everything. I don't give a fuck. But when it comes down to the celebrities, the Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez shit just tickles me the wrong way. There's too many obscurities. There's too much BS revolved around it. I can't take it seriously.
I'll even add on to this real quick. Okay. Epstein files, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a thing going on, right, where they talked about how Epstein wanted to clone certain celebrities to have his way with them.
Yeah. Yep. It was talked about for sure.
And also, and I quote, Epstein talks about Selena Gomez in one of the files.
Is there a file in the Epstein files that talks about Selena Gomez?
Checking the Epstein files right now. Nah, there's no file in the Epstein documents,
Actually,
official
man,
unsealed ones
don't
from
look about this. I've seen it.
that mention Selena Gomez at all. Zero hits in flight logs, black book, emails, or witness statements. What you're seeing? A bunch of TikTok and YouTube conspiracy stuff from early 2026, like a fake screenshot saying, decided about Selena, tied to some wild clone theory from her lupus days back in 2017. Fact checkers and outlets like Tribune and IB Times call it straight up unverified. Could be anyone named Selena. No proof it's her, no real docs back it up. It's just internet noise. Gomez has never been linked to Epstein in anything credible. If new batches drop, we'd know. But right now, total myth.
Here's the thing, though. I've read it. So
I know you've read it, but you can't believe everything you read on the internet. Just like you can't believe everything you watch on the TV. Just like you can't believe everything that somebody says to you. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I don't know if I believe in the mumbo jumbo celebrity cloning bullshit. There's parts of it that really intrigue me. Like, for instance, Eminem's car crash, Justin Timberlake's car crash, and some other people who had car crashes who, the press actually told us they died. And then those stories were retracted and walked back. One of those very famous people that a lot of people forget about is Kevin Hart. Did you know that Kevin Hart got into a serious accident, and the press reported that he died?
Mm-hmm.
He died instantly. Vehicular accident, dies instantly. And then the story is retracted back, and then Kevin Hart just is in a bad accident, is in the hospital for a month, and then is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird. And then when it comes to celebrities, a big one for me is celebrities that are missing tattoos that they had before they went into prison, or before they got out of prison, or before they went into the hospital, and before they got out of the hospital. They have different tattoos. The best one ever is Jamie fucking Foxx. Jamie Foxx had tattoos on his neck. Okay, there were tattoos on his neck. And before all the bullshit happened with Fox almost dying and claiming that P. Diddy poisoned him, which is what he swears and claims up and down about. How come when he came out of the hospital and he was seen on a yacht and somebody zoomed in to take a picture of him, there's no tattoo on his neck? And Fox claims that he either claims that he had it removed or he never had the tattoo, which is bullshit because you can look it up on the internet right now. Jamie Foxx neck tattoo, and it's there. It's absolutely ridiculous that people think that we forget these things. But celebrities that have tattoos, when it comes to the cloning part, man, how do they do that? Like, they would have to have somebody, preferably the same exact artist, sit down and tattoo the clone. Look at Gucci Mane, for instance. Like, he has tattoos that are gone, that are literally no longer there, that he claims he got removed, but there's tattoos of completely different things where the other things used to be, and there's no sign of a tattoo cover-up. And even just as well as I know, that if you get a tattoo removed, it scars.
Yeah.
It burns and scars. You literally have it on your body for the rest of your life, even if you fucking remove it.
Mm-hmm.
You will have, instead of your skin having that ink look to it, it will have a burned outline of what was ever on your body. And one of the famous tattoos that Gucci Mane had that is no longer there, or it's different, it's a little different somehow, which is a possibility, is the ice cream cone on Gucci's face. Oh, Elmsta, I have tattoos. I've got some cover-ups too, and you can see right through them. You get close enough, you can see right through the tattoo, right to the cover-up. And I've got a buddy who had half of his arm lasered off, like half of his upper sleeve lasered off. It all scars. All of it scars. There is no coming back from it. There's no, you can't. Like, you can make a tattoo look really good, don't get me wrong. you can make them look real nice. Oh no, they're scars. And even if he doesn't have any scars on his body, was it one tattoo? Was it a whole sleeve of tattoos? Was it like how many tattoos this man have? Because if it's just one tattoo, as long as it's not gigantic, a whole arm sleeve, I'd like to see it. If he could, I mean, that's up to whoever, but I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the scarification. I'd like to see it because a whole arm doesn't. It doesn't heal like that, buddy. My guy's got tattoos that were removed on his neck and a whole half a sleeve removed, and it's all scarred. But also, he had it done when tattoo removal was kind of new. So I don't know how well the lasers are now, but I know that tattoos they're not that easy to get rid of, and they're not that easy to not have come off your body for show. Tattoo scar from removal. Okay. Yes. Some tattoo laser removal leaves permanent scars when performed. But in today's modern lasers, professionals using them correctly rarely leave permanent scars. So you're right. The laser technology that they have now is a lot better. I'd love to show everybody on screen what I'm talking about real quick. Okay, so for instance, right here. So this one isn't that bad, but yes, that is a scar right here that is going to be permanently on their body. And honestly, it's because of how black the ink got. It's how many times that they have to go over and re-go over, which basically amounts to when you're going to have a scar or not. And if they don't go over it that much, they don't have to. This will probably fade after a while. This scar right here will probably fade after a while, and then it's like you don't even have one anymore. So I don't know, but that's just what I was getting at is yes, they do leave scars. My friend, his ones are really bad. He's got scars on his neck though. He had a cross on his neck. It's all scarred off now. You can see where the tattoo was. And then on his arms, he has them all scarred up. But like I said, it was because I think he got those done or got them lasered off in the early, let's say 2012, 2013, maybe 2014.
The one thing though I hate about certain tattoos, right, where you get them at a certain spot and then you get that phantom itch.
Oh, the itch?
Yeah.
I barely get the itch.
Well, no, okay, after you've had the tattoo for a while.
Yeah.
And the healing's done, and you get that really bad phantom itch. Notice how I've always scratching back here?
Yeah.
It's because it's that phantom itch.
Elmster, I have 67 tattoos on my body, and I'm going to get plenty more. All right, let's finish out these videos.
month, they found proof to a story that happened in the Bible. So you ever hear the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh no. In the Bible, there was this city. People in the city were sinning and they're doing terrible acts, and God wanted to punish the city. And he said, okay, I'm gonna send fire to destroy it. But I'm gonna warn this family there that I think they're good people. And it happens to be this family of
Elmstead, I don't believe in white pride.
this guy named Lot. Now, Lot, he had like a couple of his family members. The angels came to him and warned him, hey, you guys have to leave because the city's gonna go up in flames. So they all dipped, they all left out. Immediately, when they started leaving, balls of fire started hitting the city. Holy shit. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And it started like engulfing the entire city into flames. One rule God said to them is you cannot look back. That's the one rule. But it was so tempting for his wife. He really, really wanted to see what was happening to the city. So she turned her head and looked out at the city, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Just recently, they found the pillar of salt. Whoa! Yeah. Wait, where? They found the pillar of salt on a mountain that seemed to be the direction Lot and his family would have escaped from. Yo! Yeah. Archaeological evidence they found of the whole city, there's a sulfur. They have no explanation for it. Also, it's true that pillar is completely salt. Everything else is different material. And what's so interesting, they cracked into it. No. Yeah, they cracked into it. And they did tests, and they found bioorganic material that could have been from someone or something living, which they think it lines up to Lot's wife in the story of Sodom. Yo, I think last month they found proof to a story that happened in the
I've heard that story. I believe you've actually told me that story and showed me the pillar. That's a pretty crazy story. And, I wish I could see that in real life.
Well, okay, so you know the Dead Sea, right?
Yeah.
That's where Sodom and Gomorrah is.
Yeah. My aunt went to the Dead Sea. I've never been there, but my aunt went.
From my understanding, it's very, very, very salty.
Yeah. You float.
What if everything you've been told about what lies beneath the Vatican is incomplete? They told you one prisoner sleeps beneath the Vatican. Lucifer, chained in iron, bound for 16 centuries. They didn't tell you about the second tomb, Cain's tomb, the first murderer, buried directly across from an empty throne. His coffin pressed with the same demonic sigils that bind Lucifer next door. For 14 centuries, someone sat on that throne, watching him, waiting. Then the watchers vanished. If that sounds impossible, good. Because the evidence, the architecture, and the unanswered questions are far more unsettling than the legend itself. The full investigation is now available on Twisted End's YouTube channel. And trust me, this is only the beginning. What if everything you've been told about what lies beneath the Vatican?
Well, the Vatican hides many, 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 many secrets. Many secrets.
And the whole, Lucifer and Cain being under the Vatican, I believe it.
It could be. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people think the Garden of Eden is in the Middle East because of the Euphrates River and the Nile River. But think about it. Before Noah, before the flood, everything was connected. After the flood, all the land was separated. Number one proof, right? Right now, I'm in Alabama. This is called Oak Mountain. Even the soil itself is red. America is Africa. Africa is America. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys more. Where is the Garden of Eden? Right? They told us it was in the Middle East. Read your Bibles. This is the Garden of Eden. So if you guys can see, this is connected to a river, miles and miles down. So we're about to go up the mountain. I'm going to show you guys some more sights. But how fascinating is this? If you don't believe in God, how can you not? No man created this. This is God's creation. So we've been hiking for about 3 miles now. All you have to do is just put the puzzles together. Because that's all this is. The Bible is a code you got to figure out. Just because someone says, for example, I went to the mall. There's a meaning behind that. There's a code behind that. Just because you're reading something, it doesn't mean it's literally that. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys, the Garden of Eden is not all the way in the Middle East. It's right here. Look how beautiful this is. So, a lot of people think the Garden of Eden is in the Middle East.
So what? He's just saying the Garden of Eden is wherever there's beauty.
I mean, the red clay part makes sense,
Right.
but it's there's a theory on where the Garden of Eden could really be.
Right.
No one knows.
Let's watch the most recent SpaceX rocket launch. And at the end, I want you to tell me if you really think these rockets are going to outer space. Check it out. Takes off nice and strong, fire thrusting out the tail end. It's like, man, this rocket is really going to go to outer space. Or is it? Because we know what the Bible tells us, how God created the heaven and the earth and placed a firmament over the earth. Waters above. Keep watching. You have to really give them props, though. They keep trying to break through this firmament. Doesn't ever really seem like it works, though. Once again, these are my theories. I believe what the Bible says. You guys believe what you want. I'm just trying to show you what looks like a rocket breaking through the firmament, or at least trying to. All right, check it out. Here we are. We're getting close. And we're almost there. Oh, look, what happened? It stopped. And it blew up. It hit the waters above, not going any further. What's that look like to you? Let's watch the most recent SpaceX rocket launch. And at the end, I want you to tell me.
I mean, that's a pretty crazy video to look at.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you if that's what it is above there, not that caused that explosion, but we'll never really know.
Right.
We'll never really know unless you get in that rocket yourself and go for it. Amps has been saying some pretty crazy stuff in this chat. I don't know if you've been reading it or not, but he is talking about how he basically was like hanging around a whole Mexican gang, something about Hell's Angels and 50 of them getting arrested, and then haven't seen a single Hell's Angel in Northern California since like 2020 probably. I got something funny for you, bro. I just saw a Hell's Angel 2 days ago here where we live, and the only reason I knew it was a Hell's Angel was because he was repping his colors, which, by the way, you're not supposed to do unless you're on official business. Unless you're on official gang business. You do not rep your colors unless you're on official gang business. So they're still around. He said that they supplied all the states with Sid during the Grateful Dead era. Although I don't know if that's even necessarily like true. Like, I believe that they definitely pushed it. Probably the Hells Angels definitely pushed it, but they weren't the ones making it. There's a famous guy here in Kansas, or he was pretty famous at one point. Oh no, I'm not saying you're lying, man, but I'm saying they're not. They weren't the main creators of it. There was a guy here in Kansas. Okay, he didn't get caught till like I think the early like 2000, like maybe the early 2000s. But he lived in a bunker. Okay, he lived in a literal nuclear bunker in Kansas, huge bunker. Locked himself in there. He was a chemist, and all he did all day was make Sid, and he pushed it all throughout the United States. So much so that when they figured out where the Sid was coming from, they went and they tried to raid his bunker, and it took them 2 days to get inside because it's a nuclear bunker. I don't even know how they got in, bro, but they had to get in somehow.
Right.
Crazy. I believe you though about the Angels, Elmstead. I totally believe you. I mean, that's the orange sunshine. Sure. I don't think you're lying at all. It basically, I don't think they were the biggest people to push it. I think that's the story. But I think this dude in Kansas was the one who did it. The dude in Kansas made way more than 4.5 million. You're looking at this dude supplied people all around the world for years and years and years. 90s to the 2000s, bro. Let me see, like, let me look them up real quick, just so I can make sure that I'm not full of crap. But I remember hearing about this, and it was a huge freaking story because this dude apparently had been doing it since the 80s. Kansas bunker. William Leonard Pickard of Clyde Apperson was arrested in 2000 for operating a huge SD lab in a former Atlas E missile silo near Warmego, Kansas. The operation, considered the largest SID manufacturing case in history, was uncovered when they moved the lab, causing a significant drop in the national SID supply. Basically, let's see how many he claims to make. How much did he make? $10 million doses every 5 weeks. 10 million doses every 5 weeks. $10 million doses every 5 weeks.
That's a lot.
Way more than 4.5 million. And we're talking from like the 80s until 2000. That was the biggest supplier. That was the biggest supplier in the entire world. Definitely top of the top. Kansas took the cake. I'm sorry, Elmstead. My guy didn't even exist. Sure, my guy made way more than they ever did. That's for sure. And he did exist. He just didn't exist in that time period. Listen to this. Reportedly, when my Kansas guy was caught, reportedly the supply went down by 90% in the entire states.
Oh, wow.
90%. Both of our guys wouldn't exist without Albert Hoffman. My guy would still exist if Albert Hoffman existed. Same thing with the Angels. Okay, but anyways, the dude in Kansas, he's by far the biggest perpetrator and exporter and creator and supplier of SID in the world, as crazy as that is. But they caught him, and now he's gone. Locked up for life. Locked up for life. Not getting out. I mean, I wonder if they take any of those dudes and put them into secret government programs to because they're so good with like chemicals, you know what I mean? Because they were able to create that or make that or and keep remaking it and supply it and all this other stuff. Basically like giant kingpin chemistry energy, right? Crazy. But anyways, guys, it's gotten to that point of the time where the show is at the end. We are here. It is here. So, crew, with that being said, as always, what is this?
This is the Venmo link for the Robert and Crew Show. If you'd like to, not a have to, donate so that way we can get stuff for the podcast, or so we can go get traveling costs for the podcast. Anything and everything for this Venmo link is only for the podcast.
For show. And with that being said, our favorite form of currency is share the show. Share the show. Share it with whoever you know. Other than that, guys, we hope you have a wonderful night and much love from the Robert and Crew Show. Peace.